Welcome to the Muxall Open IoT channel. I am your host, Michael Crane. In today's short video, we're going to look at the Muxall Pro BBQ controller's new web app and the new cooking profile section, then compare it to the old web app and its cooking profile section. All right, so the new web app is designed phone first. This is what it would look like on our smartphone. In this video, I've made it a bit bigger, quite a bit bigger, so it's easier to see in this video. Before we look at the cooking profile sections though, let's take a quick look at the new web app's dashboard so everyone is familiar with it and to show where all the information from the old web app shows up in the new web app, okay? Starting from the top of the old web app, cooking status, the current profile, time remaining, and target chamber temp have moved from the top in the old web app to the bottom in the new web app. All right. The reason for this move to the bottom is to allow the dashboard to expand for displaying dynamically added profiles. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. Notice the current chamber temp is not anywhere on the new web app. This is because the graph is always on, and the current chamber temp can be obtained by clicking on the graph. I don't know, is this a good idea or bad? Let me know in the comments, okay? In the old web app, under the cook state and probes data, we have cook by probe number, cook by probe target temp, and real-time probe temperatures. These two sections have now been consolidated and are now these half-circle gauges in the new web app. The current probe temperature is on the left, the target probe temperature is on the right, and there is a gray box around the gauge if it is the probe controlling the grill. In other words, a cook by probe number, right? The gauge is green if the probe is at or near its target temp, blue if it's under the target temp, and red if your food is on its way to becoming charcoal. Okay. The barbecue state in the old web app has been moved to the top in the new web app, and DC on and DC off in the old web app have been eliminated in the new web app, but that may change in the future because I use it for debugging. All right. The fan speed percent in the old web app is now this fan indicator icon in the new web app. The fan icon should spin to show the fan is on, but I haven't coded that yet, so we'll see. All right, jumping back down to the probes data in the old web app, the outside temp is now a thermometer icon with this numeric readout in the new web app. All right, and the last thing in the old web app status section is the pellet hopper gauge. The pellet hopper gauge in the new web app is now the status icon to indicate the level of pellets in the pellet hopper. All right, so the little icon will change depending on how full it is. Cook settings is the next section in the old web app. But let's jump down to the bottom of it so I can show you where the controls and recipes have run off to. All right. The recipe section in the old web app have now moved to this binder looking icon in the new web app. This recipe section is getting a major overhaul, so there's going to be a lot more about this in later videos. The fan speed control in the old web app is now combined into the fan indicator icon that we looked at earlier in the new web app. All right, manual run or manual override in the old web app is now this goofy looking connecting rod icon in the new web app. Clicking on it will give you access to the fan, auger, and pellet hopper vibrator manual overrides. Okay. Status control in the old web app is eliminated in the new web app. In the future, I'm thinking about putting a debug log or something like that in the new web app for customer support issues, but I haven't quite decided yet. The client state and device state in the old web app have also been eliminated in the new web app because no one was really looking at that. Okay, the start and stop in the old web app have been combined into one status icon in the new web app. All right. Did you notice that I skipped everyone's favorite button? The Enter Save button. The Enter Save button is gone. Yep. We've all forgotten to click on the Enter Save button after making changes. Unfortunately, I can't eliminate it on the controller's button panel, but maybe in the future. We'll see. All right, so finally, now to the cooking profiles. In the old web app, there are 4 cooking profiles: smoke control, and ending control. Everything in this cook settings section can be accessed through this wrench icon in the cooking profiles section in the new web app. Now you may be asking yourself, well, if that's the case, what is this default smokiness control on the dashboard? Okay, so let's take a look. When you first open the cooking profiles modal in the new web app, you get the default cooking profile, Profile 1, just like in the old web app. They're the same, but different. The name is the same, of course. Target chamber temp is the same, well, except for the default temperature. But now we have a smokiness drop-down menu.
Oh, jeez, oh, nice.
All right. So when you click on it, it gives us the same precision cook, min smoke, medium smoke, and max smoke, but also a 5th option, default. Aha! I think you see where this is going. Default uses the smokiness setting from the default smokiness control back on the dashboard. This way the user can change all cooking profiles that use this default smokiness setting at the same time. It's basically the way the old web app works. It's just you set the smokiness and it uses it all the time. All right, makes sense? All right, at this point, the cooking profiles are much different. The first change we notice is the hold check button in the old web app has been eliminated in the new web app. Well, not really eliminated, really, but it renamed is probably more accurate. We'll look at this more in a minute, all right? Manual mode basically lets the user control a grill like the OEM controller does, the original equipment, right? I like to call it hot dog mode. Turn the grill on, set the temp, and it stays there forever until the user changes the temp or turns the grill off. It's manual, right? Manual mode is accessible under cook by temp because, well, the user is control and decides if the meat is done or not, right? I guess the user could be timing the cook, but, yeah, you know. Okay, so speaking of cook by time, clicking on that radio button brings up the cook by time settings. The cook time is hours and minutes. All right, labels are forthcoming. For some reason, they got eliminated. All right, one new feature in the new web app is the restart button in this cook by time. It basically resets the cooking time profile of the profile to 0. All right, so if the grill's been running profile 1 for an hour or so and you click on restart, you click on the restart button, it will reset the time the profile has been running to 0. All right, it's kind of like resetting your stopwatch, I guess. All right, so we also have a finish icon in the cook by time. This tells the controller what to do when the cook time is up, right? So shut down and keep warm don't need an explanation. Actually, keep warm was called smoke mode or smoke when done in the old web app, but that was a bit confusing. So I renamed it. Next cooking profile tells the controller you want to progress to the next cooking profile, profile 2 in our case. This is exactly what happens with the old web app when you uncheck all the hold boxes, okay? So jumping back to cook by temp in the new web app, we've talked about manual mode. Let's take a look at cook by probe. Here we have the familiar probe number and probe target temp, which is the same as in the old web app. but I have eliminated the checkbox and the rest minutes in the new web app. All right. In the old web app, when the probe number that is set in the cook by probe reaches its target temp, the grill goes into shutdown mode or smoke when done mode, right? AKA keep warm. But in the new web app, we have a new, much requested feature, finish action. Now, with finish action, we can tell the controller to go to the next cooking profile. Yay! So, let's add another cooking profile. To add another cooking profile, we click on the Add Profile button. This adds all the same controls in Profile 2 that were in Profile 1. We can change the target temp, just like in the old web app, but now we can also change the smokiness profile. So, if we set Profile 1 to use smokiness maximum, we can change it to something else in Profile 2. All right? The same is true for cook by temp and cook by time. For example, if Profile 1 is set to cook by time and Profile 2 is set to cook by temp using manual mode, this is the same as unchecking the hold box in Profile 1 and checking the hold box in Profile 2. Right? But wait, that's not all. We can now use cook by probe in Profile 1 and cook by time in Profile 2, or cook by probe again in Profile 2 using the same probe number or even another probe. All right, so let's do a quick example. Let's say we want to smoke a chicken at 225 until the internal temperature is about 150, all right? Then we want to run the grill up to 400 or 500 degrees to crispy the skin until the internal temperature reaches 165. To do this, we could set Profile 1's target chamber temp to 225, Profile 1's target temp to 150, and the finish action would be to go to the next cooking profile. All right. In Profile 2, we could set the target chamber temp to 400 or so, and cook by temp using cook by probe. We could use the same probe or another probe, but in this example, we will use the same probe number 1. All right. But now we set the probe target temp to 165, which is the minimum safe cooking temp for poultry. And then we'll tell the grill to shut down when it's done. All right. One thing to note when I made this example is to prevent backburn. It is not a good idea to go from 400 degrees to shut down without first running the grill down to 225 to 250 to let it cool off before going into shutdown mode. All right. So you might want to add a third profile to do that. And eventually, I have a ticket open on this. The grill will automatically do it if it's too hot. It will automatically, like if you're running at 400 and put it in shutdown mode, it will automatically drop it down to 225 before it goes into shutdown mode. All right. But anyway, let's move on. So in the first rollout of the new web app, the max number of cooking profiles is set to 4. In the future, it will be more, maybe unlimited. We'll see. To remove a profile, we click on Remove. Profile 1, the default profile, cannot be deleted. All right? And that's it. I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments under the video or on our Facebook page. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Don't forget, you can support the Muxall Open IoT channel by donation using a credit card and PayPal, or by purchasing products at the Muxall store. Details and links are in the description under this video. Well, that's it for this video. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up, that helps, and hit the subscribe button, that really helps. If you have any questions or comments, post them in the comments under this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.